to the Daily with Haley. Of course, I'm your host, Haley, and I look forward to you tuning in today to get your daily dose of encouragement. Hello, my friends. It is going to be a good episode today. I'm going to share a little bit about a recent experience that I had. And the Lord really showed me a lot through it. Never did I think there was so many things I could get out of this, but that's just how God works. So today's message is called Trusting is Hard. Trusting is hard. Yes, it is, guys. Yes, it is. So if you follow me on social media, you will know that my cat recently went missing. She went missing, and it was the most weirdest thing, you guys. So she wears, both my cats, I have two cats. They're indoor, outdoor. They wear an Apple AirTag, and I was under the impression that these Apple AirTags track them, obviously if they went missing, but not the case. So if you think your cat, if you live in the country specifically, I think if you live in the city, it'd be okay. But if you live in the country, don't depend on the Apple AirTag to find your animal because it won't. So my poor Charlotte, her name's Charlotte, went missing, and obviously I was just scared to death. And the weirdest thing is that her AirTag literally went off the face of the earth. No joke, vanished. And the weirdest part was it vanished in my front yard. Seriously, it said the last ping was in my front yard. Well, obviously, you guys, if my cat was in my front yard, I would know that, right? Okay. So, of course, I think the worst here. I'm like, oh my gosh, she has been hit and the AirTag's been destroyed. Or, it had been raining. So I was like, oh my gosh, she's gotten in somewhere and she's drowned. Of course, automatically start thinking the worst, right? Okay. So I began to search through the neighborhood, and me and my mom and my brother and my wonderful family, everybody's looking for her. And me and my mom and my brother literally went out on the streets, no joke, at 10 o'clock at night with a flashlight, hoping that she would be out. And I can laugh about this now, of course, because she is back home safe. But so anyway, we're doing all this stuff and we're looking for her. And what had kept happening with this AirTag is they kept pinging in random places. It was on my road, but it was random places, okay? But when it would ping, it would never actively ping. And so by the time I got the notification, I couldn't find her. So it was pinging in all these random places. So I thought it was random. Now after the fact, I'm kind of, thinking through it all. And I thought, okay, they were random, right? Once we found her, or not once we found her, but before we started talking to other people around the area she was pinging. And what I found was near all of those pings were people who were feeding her. Or maybe not feeding her directly, but had cat food out. They were feeding stray cats. Because, we live in the country, there's a lot of feral cats. And so I thought for a second, it's so funny because sometimes we in our lives, God will orchestrate things and put things in our path that we think are random, but really that situation, that person, that thing is there for a purpose. It's nurturing us. And so it's so funny to me after the fact that all of those pings were people who had cat food, so she wasn't going hungry. And so honestly, she was missing for 9 days. So I just found her not too long ago, and she was missing for 9 days. And so of course, at this point, I'm starting to think the worst. I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm never going to find her. My poor cat, she's out here, never going to find her. I'm really starting to lose hope. I would walk up and down the roads, hollering her name, and nothing. Well, the night that I found her, you guys, I was walking down the road and I literally remember vividly, and this is something that God has said to me a lot these past couple of months, is do you trust me? And I mean, he said it so vividly, like I'm talking to you guys right now. He said, "Do you trust me?" And I thought, yes, God, I do. But I said it kind of, I'm just being honest, hesitantly, because I'm like, I do trust you, Lord, but it's been 9 days and my cat's missing and I just don't know what else to do. Do you trust me? So I said, okay, I'm going to trust him. I'm going to walk a couple more times and then I'm going to go home. And one thing that I have acquired from a lady I used to work for, she used to do this and it never failed her, is she would always say, nothing is lost in your kingdom. Nothing is lost in your kingdom. So when she would lose something, even if it was as simple as losing like her wallet or something, she'd always say that. And I've noticed I do that. But for some reason, throughout this whole time my cat's been missing, I haven't tried that one. Why? I'm not so sure. And so anyway, I parked my car up the road and I'm walking and, this was right after the Lord said, do you trust me? And I said, okay, Lord, nothing is lost in your kingdom. Please guide me. Show me. Let me hear something, Lord, or just show me a sign that she's okay. So I'm walking. All of a sudden, I hear this faint, I can't even talk because I'm getting so worked up. Faint. Meow. Meow. And I was like, okay. And I'm standing in the middle of this road, you guys. First of all, it's raining and I'm in the middle of the rain. Like people thought I was half crazy, but anyway. And I'm like, okay, Lord, am I hearing things or is that the cat? Like, what is happening right now? And so I get closer and closer and then I see her. I see her, you guys. And I'm like, oh my gosh. This was such a lesson to me because while I had prayed that I would find her, I never thought to say, God, guide me to her. And so I feel like sometimes in life, what God really laid on my heart was that, it's so easy for us to say, God, help me, but do we say, God, guide me? Because he knows the outcome. He knows what's ahead. So why are we not saying, God, guide me, lead me, let me be a vessel, orchestrate my steps? And so I found myself so guilty of this. I'm praying for things in my life and, praying for other people. And I'm finding that I'm not asking God to guide me. And so I encourage you, if you're in a season, if you're in a situation, ask God to guide you. It doesn't, and I say all this too to say, when we ask God to guide us, it doesn't necessarily mean that the outcome is going to be what we had expected but what this does mean is that in the waiting, he will give us a peace. He will give us strength. And he is literally going to say, okay, that outcome that you're asking for is not attainable right now. But here's what I need you to do in the meantime. And so God is going to guide our steps to maybe get us to that outcome we're asking, or he's going to guide us and divert us into a better direction. Okay? So guys, I know trusting is hard. It is so hard. I found myself, honestly, if I'm being really real, through that 9 days, like seriously having some doubt. I'm like, Lord, I don't know what else to do. And if y'all know how I'm about my animals, that was really hard for me. Like it was really, really, I couldn't even sleep. I mean, genuinely. And so I encourage you, excuse me, to have faith and stand firm in asking God to guide you in whatever it is in your journey in a situation, and just watch how he is going to open doors for you and he's going to guide you, and maybe he closes doors, and that's okay because at the end of the day, he knows what lies ahead, right? And one thing I would like to share too is that I'm really big on worshiping. I love my worship music. Sometimes I get so carried away in the car with my worship music. People probably think that I am half crazy. So a song that I've been playing this ever since God's really laid this on my heart it's called Trust in God by Elevation Worship. And the verse that I love the most, you guys, is I sought the Lord and he heard and he answered. And it says it over and over. I sought the Lord and he heard and he answered. And so I encourage you, if you are in that moment, seek the Lord. He hears you and he will answer. But remember, the answer may not be what we were thinking. So just keep that in mind. And I'm going to end this with a funny note, you guys. In the midst of me finding my cat, it's raining, okay? It's raining. It's pouring down rain. And she's kind of skittish, so I knew I couldn't call my dad or Iggy or anybody to come help me because she would have freaked out. So she's in the middle of this like wooded area, you guys. I had my like dressy clothes still on, my work shoes, you guys. Had to like trample through these woods, breaking branches. And after I get her, I am walking down this road, you guys, in the rain with my wet cat, crying because I'm so happy. I put her in my car and I noticed I have these sticks like sticking out my head because my hair was like up in a clip from them getting stuck and leaves hanging on me. So you know what, guys? It's okay. Sometimes in the trusting, it is hard. We may not look the best, but if we remain in the waiting, remain faithful in knowing that God is going to make a way, it will come to pass. I love you guys so much. I hope you will be encouraged that in the waiting, trusting is hard, but God has a plan and he has such a big purpose for our lives. I love you guys so much. I will talk to you tomorrow.